You know what one of my favorite hobbies is? Movies. Movies, filmmaking, all of it is something I'm truly passionate about. It's always been the subject I enjoy the most. It might even be something I want to pursue as a career. As a little kid, you could find me constantly replaying and rewatching movies, talking about them nonstop, finding out little details, and understanding them more and more. The only other part of pop culture that reaches this level for me is YouTube, which I've used to convey my love for movies countless times. And what happens when you combine these two pieces of media? You get, well, a lot of things. But one of the most notorious of all is a group of unfunny, ignorant, nitpicky douches known as CinemaSins. You're all too familiar with these people. No matter how much you can't stand their Everything Wrong With series, they always manage to end up in your feed. Every video of theirs goes down the same way. Look through a movie scene by scene, point out all of its sins, aka what is bad about it, make an annoying ding noise, count up said sins, and then get away with it by claiming it's all satire. Obviously, I'm not the first one to think that CinemaSins sucks. You've probably heard the same thing time after time again. I really recommend checking out BobVid's Sustaining Stupidity analysis if you want to know more about this topic. But anyway, from their refusal to learn from criticism, to how they completely misunderstand how films work, I avoid their dumpster fires like the plague. However, in CinemaSins' awful wake came a new channel from out of the shadows, the focus of today's video, their independent, often preferred opposite, CinemaWins. CinemaWins is an American YouTube channel run by Lee Boucher. Its basic premise is not difficult to understand. It's essentially an inversion of CinemaSins, where instead of pointing out the quote-unquote problems with a film, it's about pointing out the positives, even with films he doesn't like. Okay, there's definitely more to it than just that. The actual main goal is to, you know what, I'm just gonna let the man himself explain it.
This video feels like a good time to briefly remind you, my dear viewers, what this channel is about. While it started out a lot more tongue-in-cheek, it quickly became obvious to me that bad movies had fans who enjoyed them unironically. So slowly, the bad thing but I'm pretending it's good shtick disappeared and I went looking for more sincere points. Although you guys don't begrudge me a few here and there. I do argue against and defend perceived problems, but unless I come right out and say it, the wins aren't about judging whether a movie is good or bad. That's just not what I'm interested in doing with this channel. My mission statement has become, every movie is at least one person's favorite, and I want to try to figure out the reasons why.
So yeah, time after time again, I hear people openly admit that they prefer wins over sins, by a sizable margin. And I can totally see why, because, to the surprise of no one, I am one of those people. I'm pretty sure you can already tell. But look, I don't only like CinemaWins because they're the opposite of a channel I despise. It goes a lot deeper than that. Like, the similarities between him and Sins are mostly surface level. He adopted the original format and used it as a base for everything else, because CinemaWins' videos are actually comprised of two separate segments. The first is a breakdown of each scene in the film, going into the minor elements. And the second is where he gives his final say, explaining his broader opinions on the subject matter. I love this so much. It allows Lee to give his full, unbridled thoughts in a constructive way, like how any good reviewer should. And more importantly, Lee feels so much more connected with his audience. He doesn't come off as extremely condescending. Instead, he's humble and sincere about his thoughts. He doesn't pretend that his statements are law. He welcomes and encourages conversation on any topic, really. I'm happy to say that he's always curious to hear everyone's opinion. Just about everything he says is out of good faith. Plus, his videos feel very personal, especially when he brings up his wife or kids. He even recommends content from other channels to his audience. What a wholesome Chad. As for what he talks about specifically, he'll give praise to musical cues, smart directing choices, moments of continuity, etc. He'll thank the directors, effects artists, actors, just about everyone who had a positive impact on the film.
What a scene! With no other visual cues, you can actually see and feel the force power shift. Credit to the actors, credit to the sound design, credit to just everybody. I love you all. Goodness gracious. I generally like to save these establishing shots for my conclusion, but how gorgeous is this shot? James Gunn, the DP, Henry Brom, and everyone that worked on the visual effects, you are all amazing.
He'll often win positive traits or other little things like honesty, politeness, compliments, teamwork, self-sacrifice, generosity, hugging, love, workout routines, saving your little buddy, yup, which is used on anything that needs no further explanation, characters being alive, fastest way montages, and who can forget all them beautiful beards? Oh, and so is always a win. He can debunk common misconceptions just by, oh, I don't know, paying attention and doing his research, more on that later, as well as giving people a whole new perspective on a scene. So many times when watching his videos, I find myself saying, oh dang, I've never even thought of it that way before. Like, had it not been for his theory in the Age of Ultron video, I wouldn't have been so ecstatic when Cap lifted Mjolnir. As for the whole research thing, he scours through deleted scenes, director commentaries, all of it, just to make sure he's got the whole picture. And as a result, he'll give lots and lots of fun facts and trivia. There are some mistakes made here and there, but a lot can be forgiven. I also appreciate his counter-arguments and defenses towards some movies' backlash, even if I don't always agree with them. And I love it when he points out the most minor of details. It doesn't matter if you've seen a film like 56 times, you'll still come out of a CinemaWins video knowing something new. The man's got some astute observation skills. I like the little lessons of the week, and I always get a good kick out of his little brand of humor.
Hey look, it's Ant-Man. Get it?
His puns are just mwah. His voice is quick and snappy, always straight and to the point, aside from when he jokingly doesn't and loses focus.
This guy. I'm not going to say his name because I don't care to start a Japanese versus American pronunciation war since the games and animes can't even agree. Wait, what were we talking about? Right, he's a win.
And did I forget to mention that he doesn't include the pointless movie timer in the corner? He has a good understanding of the rules of storytelling, and always acknowledges the film's intent. Plus, he can actually take criticism rather than rejecting it. You know, despite seeming like just the antithesis of CinemaSins, this channel actually feels like it has a meaningful reason for existing. And it hurts my soul to see YouTube prioritize the former. I guess negativity sells better, huh? As for how I came across this channel, the earliest time I can recall seeing anything of his was back in 2018. It was freshman year of high school. I was sitting in the Performing Arts Center as the drama club was doing rehearsals. I was bored and pulled out my phone and started watching the Guardians 2 video. And seemingly from there, I was hooked. It was such a nice change of pace from the negativity of Sins. As for my personal favorites out of all of his videos, well, it's kind of the expected stuff. The MCU, or more specifically, Guardians 1 and 2, the Avengers films, Homecoming, No Way Home, Ant-Man, Ragnarok, Civil War, and The Winter Soldier, the Monsterverse series, Megamind, Toy Story 1 through 3, Ratatouille, The Incredibles, Encanto, Wreck-It Ralph, Lego Batman, Transformers, Jurassic World, and obviously WALL-E. I'm telling you, when I saw this in my notifications, I just couldn't wipe the grin off my face. And while I'm at it, I want to use this as an opportunity to list some movies that I'd love to see him cover. The Night at the Museum trilogy, or at the very least the first one, Poseidon, which would be perfect for this channel's style, any of these films. He's already teased us with doing the rest of the Jurassic series, but Where's My Monsters, Inc.? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, even though Josh Scorcher already did it, and I don't think even his can be topped. And finally, Cars 1 and maybe even 3. If that were to happen, my heart would literally melt into a puddle. Now obviously, I don't expect him to do all of these, if any, but a man can dream, am I right? Considering how the internet is full of people lashing out at each other for their different views and opinions, Lee is someone we should strive more to be like. And I'm not referring to being overly positive, but just respectful and considerate of those around us. Sorry if I'm sounding a bit preachy here. Now, of course, this channel isn't perfect or anything. That's not what I'm trying to get at here. I understand that he can get a bit overexcited at times, and not every point he makes is necessarily helpful, but then again, he's just a guy who really enjoys movies and wants to point out their strengths. And I see little wrong with that. Obviously, there are people who go more in depth with their analysis than him, but sometimes simplicity can be a blessing. I like to view his videos as a very tasty side dish to a more substantial sirloin steak. And that's not a dig or anything. He has this charm and upbeat energy that I can't help but gravitate towards, all while teaching me quite a heaping helping over the years. From filming techniques to valid criticisms, there's a lot that can be learned from him. He's even inspired others in the process. Channels like this are what make watching movies fun. That satisfaction and thrill of it all is encapsulated within this man's videos. And each week, I'm always curious to see what this Dingmaster has to say. A far greater and healthier experience than Sins. To me, there's never been a YouTuber that says, "It's okay to love what you love," better than this one. I suppose you could say, I thank God for CinemaWins. And as Lee himself put it, liking things is more fun than disliking things. Even if you're not a fan of his work, you cannot deny that this channel is oozing with heart and soul. So, there's my take on CinemaWins, the most optimistic movie person this website has ever seen. Sorry if I was kinda all over the place with what I had to say. This is a video I've planned on making for a while. It just kept getting pushed back again and again, unfortunately. But I'm glad to finally have it done. And with that, thank you all for watching. See you in the next one.
Time travel! I see this as an absolute win.
You're hired.
Wound up pushing time.